Hello again, YouTube. I am back with yet another serious video message. It's about celebrities that are dead or deceased, cloned, and replaced. Celebrities and other public figures that have been, killed or murdered in ritual blood sacrifices, cloned and replaced with robotic or fake versions of themselves. And today's subject is the basis from Panic at the Disco, Jonathan Jacob Walker, or just John Walker for short. Before I get down to the message, if you're the kind of person that thinks that the Bible is a joke and you're not into the happenings of the spiritual realm, then just don't pay any attention to this video and this message. You might want to click away from it now because I really don't have time for the games and the nonsense and the foolishness. If you're the kind of person that thinks that everything is a joke and a game, then this message is not for you. If you want to continue to follow all of the lies of, false religion and, the mainstream, the things that the mainstream mass media has been feeding you all of your life, spoon feeding you all your life, then this message is not for you. Now, moving on, I'd just like to say that it's been like 9 or 10 months since, I started doing these videos and the videos about Fall Out Boy, Brendan Urie, and the fake Brendan Urie's wife being a clone tranny. I understand that those videos have angered a lot of people, but I would just like to say that I don't apologize for it at all. I mean, it made me nervous. You could tell, you could hear it in my voice, but I don't apologize for exposing this kind of stuff because it's been hidden for far too long, and these celebrities have been on pedestals for way too long. And it's all the nonsense and the foolishness. It's got to stop. I mean, God is, since Jesus is about to come soon and bring this thing to a close, He's chosen this specific time to bring these troops out and stuff. And there's a particular YouTuber. I'm not gonna call her name or anything, at least not for now. They've been giving me a hard time about doing these videos, talking about I'm copying them or whatever, and they've been accusing me of things that's not true. And I don't know why. I don't know what they got against me. They would tell me to take certain videos down and stuff. And even if I did, talking about I copied them or something, and even if I did, I got a feeling they would find fault with something else because I did take the copyrighted parts out, but they still come around here, harassing me and stuff, and I'm not bothering them. But anyway, moving on to the subject at hand, John Walker. Somebody says, if you believe John Walker was replaced, then when was it? In my honest opinion, I think that, he was replaced sometime in the spring of 2007. And as I said before, the band, our first discussion that we had shortly after I became a fan of this band with a girl from Bosnia. We had the first discussion about this in October 2007, but I didn't see her for like 5 or 6 months, and we had the next discussion again in I would say the spring, which was in March or April of 2008, and we both knew that something wasn't right about this band when the Pretty Odd around the time that the Pretty Odd period came along. And I must say that because I actually became a fan of the Beatles because of that, and in conjunction with becoming a fan of the Beatles, I found out about this whole cloning thing because, ironically, when I found out about Paul McCartney being replaced, it was just too much for me, so I just went into the denial mode and wouldn't admit that he had been replaced. So I went in. It was just an overload for me, and so I just shut down and shut it out of my mind for almost the next 3 years. This was when I first found the possibility of celebrities being replaced. This was in, I would say, October of 2010, but about early September of 2013, that's when the truth finally sunk in. And to be honest, I actually wasn't looking for this. It just came to me. One day, and my outlook on the world hasn't been the same since. I've been finding out new things, about this stuff ever since. And this is a progressive revelation, meaning that we know more today than we know more now than we did back then. But getting to the differences between the real John Walker and the imposter, right here on the real John, as you can see, he's bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, and I always thought that, I wouldn't say always thought, but when I found out about the possibility of, celebrities, when I found out about celebrities being transgender, period, I thought maybe I can't really decide whether he was born male or female, so I just said, he could possibly be a female, but, I believe he's a hermaphrodite or bi-gender. And somebody said, well, one of Yahweh Rule's videos covered about the fact that, hermaphrodite is it's an Illuminati lie, but I slightly disagree with that, because I got a cousin, and don't laugh, people, I think this was his nickname or something. His name was Bo Diddley or something, and I found out he had both male and female parts. A distant cousin, mind you. But back to the subject, as you can see, there's between the imposter, the one on the left, the picture on the left was taken back in 2006, but the one on the right was taken, I'm not sure when it was taken exactly, but I believe it was during the Young Vanes era. And that whole story about Panic at the Disco parting ways because of creative differences, that was a bold-faced lie. The reason why the band had broke up is because it was no longer them anymore. That they had died. They were all murdered and they were replaced. And I don't take that back at all, because it's true. God revealed it to me. As you can see on the left, the chin on the real John Walker is it's more rounded, but the one on the imposter is a wide square chin, and also the commisera line, which is the line between that separates the upper and the lower lip, is it's a bit shorter. It's a bit shorter on the imposter, but I'm sorry, it's a bit shorter on the real John Walker, but on the imposter, his mouth is just huge. When he opened that thing, it was like I was looking into a cave or something. But anyway, with the original John Walker, because I believe I actually mentioned to a friend that I was just bringing up just to test the waters, see what she thought about it. Not that it matters, but because I wasn't really sure that, and I thought maybe that John Walker was never really a real person, because there were no pictures of him before. There were no pictures, because I couldn't find any pictures in prior to 2004, 2005. But she said that she thinks he was a real person. I do too, because I'm gonna just be honest. Some of you may disagree with me, but I'm gonna love you nonetheless. I'm not gonna start any beefs with you or anything like that. But I believe John was, he was godly seed. He had the glory of God on him. And I'm about to show you, before I get to that picture, the thing I noticed why they do to quote unquote male celebrities, when most of them are actually female, but they've been turned into males. The thing I noticed that when they clone these people, excuse me, that when they clone these people, they clone the male celebrities, they try to, over time, make them look, more buff, or sometimes they get skinnier, but they try to make them look more buff and more masculine in the face. And I noticed that it doesn't look right, because that's not how God made them. God is, as you can see with the real John Walker on the left, God is the perfect designer, because the real John was just, I'll just say, beautiful, very, very attractive, like the rest of his band members or fellow, fallen comrades. And sometimes either way, whether they make that individual more buff or skinnier or more masculine or whatever, it just doesn't look right, because God is the perfect designer. And I'm gonna tell you something I've seen in the spirit. I keep with this with this comp photo right here, the one on the left, I keep seeing in the spirit that there's this light, this glory that emanates from the real John Walker. And believe me, he did have the glory of God on him, because God's creations have a glow about them, especially if they're children of the Lord. And I'm sorry, the one on the right, When I just keep seeing darkness and death and demons. The one on the left has a soul to the eyes, and he looks full of joy, full of love, life, hope, and expectancy. But the one on the right, the skin looks synthetic, the eyes are soulless, and there's no, the facial expression is blank, and the eyebrows are a little bit thinner, and the brow ridge is a little more prominent. And also another thing, I noticed that the reason they put the handlers, the Illuminati, the handlers of these celebrities, because the ones, especially specifically the ones in the music industry, they're owned by the label and stuff. They're under all kinds of mind control and things like that. The thing I noticed is, and before I get to that, the neck is also a bit shorter and thicker than on the original John Walker. This one right here is a soulless being, an empty vessel, a soulless, an empty shell or a soulless vessel, an individual. This individual right here isn't human. It's a zombie, and they put facial hair on this individual to hide the fact that it wasn't the original one. I mean, the original, he has a bit of stubble, but it looks good on him, and his hair is a little messy and greasy and things like that, but he still looks amazing. I mean, look at that smile. I mean, how could you not love that? But on the right, this is why I couldn't connect with, the imposter man, because, they were just awful. I mean, because if my spirit doesn't agree with something, like there's a certain false prophet running around on the internet by the name of Rachel Sharif, and she's this Middle Eastern lady from Oxford, England. I mean, my spirit, if something's not right about an individual or a group of people or whatever, then my spirit's just not going to agree with it. If my spirit doesn't agree with something, then, God makes a way for me to find out what the truth really is. And, that's basically the long and the short of it. Right here, you see, right here again, there's a major difference between the original John Walker and the imposter. The imposter has a blank stare, and, the skin looks more like, I would say, plastic, wax, latex, rubber, or medical grade silicone. And the lips are also a bit thinner. And the one on the left, looks, just looks happy and stuff. But the one on the right looks miserable and just blank. Right here, and this is a different clone, because, all celebrities have, many faces, and one eye is higher and larger than the other eye, which is a sign of cloning. And the nose is also different. Right here, I'm gonna be honest, the real John, if you look at the feet, the real John had a high arch in his feet, but the imposter has flat feet. Right here, as you can plainly see, the real John Walker was shapely, had a nice physique and things like that. He wasn't fat or anything, but he was just stocky. But the imposter is skinny and doesn't have much of a shape. And I also noticed the real John Walker played the bass most of the time, but the imposter, specifically the one with the young veins, always played the guitar or something. It's like he didn't know how to play the bass or anything. This individual right here is supposedly John, but it's not. I mean, it's a monster. It's a clone with a demon inside of it. Right here, here's the difference between the imposter, the real John Walker, and the imposter. And this is a tranny. The wife is a tranny. It's not a woman at all. It's a man. Well, since my time is running low, I have to do another video on this. I specifically will do more on Brendan Urie. So, no further ado. Peace. I'm out.